I am not a Fortnite player, and I want to put that out there immediately. Judge me for my footage. I suck. I know. You don't need to remind me. I've spent maybe a couple of hours total with the game since launch, but the idea of a new build for Switch 2, it piqued my curiosity. So I re-downloaded it on the Switch 1, suffered through that nightmare of a build for a few hours, just so I could bring you this comparison and performance review. Now, Fortnite fans, should you be excited? Let's find out. Alright, before we do jump in, if you find this useful, consider subscribing. This channel's been around for nearly 7 years now, with hundreds of Switch 1 reviews and deals videos, and now we're back to daily content for both Switch 1 and Switch 2. So yeah, look, if you're into it and you want a whole host of Switch videos, hit subscribe, support a small channel, it really does help. So what did I check out first of all? Well, on both Switch 1 and Switch 2, I played no build mode, no way in hell I'm capable of the building aspect of this game. I jumped into a chill out zone, no combat or any of that jazz. And finally, I had the miserable experience of checking out a very brief moment of the Sabrina Carpenter dance party, or whatever it is. We'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's talk about the Switch 1 build of the game. And honestly, it was a slug. Resolution is muddy, making it hard to spot anything at a distance, and textures were so low that everything just felt like a blurry mess. The draw distance was also severely cut back. You'd see enemies or structures pop in right before they pop you in the head, which is not great in a fast-paced competitive game like Fortnite. In fact, even when you can see enemies at a distance, the frame rate for these players is so far reduced, well, basically good luck hitting one of them. And then the frame rate in general, actually, all over the place. So yeah, I think the general opinion of the Switch build of Fortnite is that it's a budget port, and from what I've seen, many argue we'd actually be better off with a port of the mobile version. So yeah, basically I think I'd call it playable, sure, but for a game that's meant to be snappy and competitive, it is far from optimal. So in steps Fortnite on Switch 2, does it fix these problems? And I'd say yes, for the majority. It's over double the file size. Fortnite on Switch 1 floated around 15 gig, while this one is 35, but that is clearly not wasted. Across the board, resolution is a huge jump up, textures are now high quality, and there's additional shadow rendering that really makes a difference in the environment. I think it makes it feel bigger. Even the water effects, they've been improved. It goes as far then as the characters themselves as well. While animations and overall looks are unchanged, the implementation of clothing physics, it helps with that sense of motion and speed. I've also been really impressed with the lighting, especially as we go through different periods of the day and see the reflections it casts on the world and our playable character. The big thing though, I think, draw distance. I can actually see what's ahead of me now. Now, does that mean I can hit anything? Absolutely not. And those Jedi players do my head in, by the way. They slaughter me in a second. But you now have a great way to play on the go, though granted, if you do lose, maybe a few less excuses. Aside from that though, like performance-wise then, we get locked to 60. And I went straight from Switch 1 gameplay to Switch 2, and I can't undervalue what a difference this makes to the experience. Not only that, but now Switch players might actually be competitive. And that's not a dig at anyone who plays predominantly on Switch. If you could win consistently on Switch 1, you're going to be a beast with this build. Look at this Switch 1 frame rate in comparison to Switch 2. It is a huge jump. Outside of the no build mode then, I checked out Vibe Palace, which is the chill out zone I mentioned, and on Switch 1 it tanked the frame rate. Now I do want to be fair to Switch 1 here, it was extremely busy and there was a whole lot going on in the room. But on Switch 2, you can still, again, see the improvements across the board. My final stop then, Sabrina Carpenter. It confirmed all of the above factors and also verified Sabrina Carpenter, not for me. On Switch 1, it made me want to jump out of the window. On Switch 2, and that is the end of my journey with Fortnite. But if you are a fan, or maybe you're considering getting into it, and you predominantly want to play on the Switch 2, then I don't think you can complain. Look, sure, there's still some issues, some pop in. Noticed a few reduced frame rates, it makes sense in the background. But I think these things are minor. It's a great looking build now. And there's still one major improvement to come, and that is mouse mode. will go live June 17th. That is actually the day after this video goes live. For anyone, watching in the future thinking, but dude, mouse mode's been here for ages. Yeah, at the time of the video, it wasn't. But yeah, I think mouse mode could truly be a game changer for the hardcore players out there. And I can't actually wait to see now what they do. This is a game I don't particularly play, but I'm not opposed to checking out an odd, kill compilation here and there. So yeah, will you be checking it out? Let me know in the comments and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Cheers all.